Hey friends, this is Dolynny TV. Glad to have you aboard on a beautiful Monday in October for the Edmonton Oilers. The opening night roster is, well, it's been announced, or at least for cap purposes, it's been announced. Our man James Hamblin, he's made the roster, albeit for a day or so, but for the Edmonton Oilers, that's burying the lead. Connor McDavid signed this morning. Blew up my phone. I was in a meeting, and let me tell you, everybody's looking at me like, are you going to take that? Do you got to go? Like, something happening? Like, is there an emergency? Well, yes, sirree, there was an emergency. The Oilers did indeed sign Connor McDavid, and then right away also decided to sign Jake Walman. It was a pressure-packed, 15 minutes really is what it came down to, as we found out Connor's 2-year by $12.5 million deal and Jake Walman's 7x7, as the Oilers look like, for the most part, they're going to have a D-core locked up for a long couple of runs here to the playoffs over the next 5 to 6 seasons. So that is the Cole's notes of everything that happened today, including our man James Hamblin being part of the opening night roster. But let's move forward and get on with the video. Again, at any point, you may feel free to skip ahead. There's a lot to cover. I'm going to be long-winded, and I'm going to be frank about that because, hey, it is what it is. If you are new to the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button as well today. Today would be a great day to get aboard as a regular viewer on the channel. Again, subscribing is easy and free to do, and it just gets you the videos that much quicker. Of course, if you are subscribed and you're like, man, I don't get the videos that quick, there is a little notifications tab. You might have it personalized versus all notifications. Hey, if you want that come to your phone first thing, that's great. If you don't, that's fine too. I'm not going to push that because I get sick of listening to myself some days. So fair enough when you want to take me in on your own time. All right, let's get to it. All right, here we go. Cool? All right, let's go. Enough fun. $12.5 million year cap hit for Connor McDavid. 2-year deal. Due for extension July 1st, 2027. We'll do this all again 2 years from now. Again, Connor McDavid will still have a year on his contract, but as of July 1st, 2027, he is allowed to sign a new deal. And that one, let me tell you, will not be 12 and a half. It may indeed be over 25. Let's just keep that in mind, okay? This next one's going to be scary. Everybody thought this was a scary one. Well, it's 12 and a half. He wants to win and win now, and then he'll cash the bag later. Full no movement clause. I'll have a little bit more of a breakdown on the Connor McDavid contract in a second from Puckpedia, who, I mean, were absolutely all over the place this weekend, trying to cover everything going on across the NHL, and credit to them. Again, Bob Stauffer has Hart Levine from Puckpedia on his show on regular. I cannot imagine what the next appearance for Hart Levine is going to look like on Oilers Now. All right, Bob Stauffer, let's get going, my man, with the information on Jake Walman on a long-term deal. Here's the thing. Jake Walman came in, instantly impressed the Oilers fans. Again, he was a capable defenseman on a terrible San Jose team. Had a strong playoff run, 2 goals, 8 assists, 10 points, 22 games played, and a +9. For everybody that sits here and clowns me consistently for how much I sit here and whine about why I want the Oilers defense to score as many points as possible, when you have players making as much money as they do, they got to chip in offensively. I don't care if you think they're a good defenseman or not. They got to chip in offensively. Again, that's targeted at Bouchard, that's targeted at Nurse, and it's targeted at Walman, but they're all capable plus player defensemen who can score points and will score points on an Oilers team. Again, hit the net with your shots. Don't be afraid to shoot the puck and make strong plays out of your own end, and it will lead to points and goals and winning games more often than not. And that is exactly what we can expect out of Jake Walman going forward, because again, he is a guy capable of playing top pairing minutes on an off night for the team. I wouldn't say Jake Walman's a guy you want to throw out there as your number 1 D-man, but he very well might be the guy next to Evan Bouchard a few years from now when we no longer choose to retain the services of Matthias Ekholm. The Oilers now have the best defense during the McDavid-Draisaitl era. Again, Bob points to what is the opening night defense for the Oilers. 8 defensemen on there, with Walman a question mark at best. For Wednesday, Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Walman, Kulak, Emberson, Stetcher, Regula. What I really like about Walman, and you're like, he's playing on an offside next to Darnell Nurse. That doesn't sound like an ideal situation. Sounds a lot better than playing a regular 6'7" in Stetcher next to Nurse. Sounds a lot better than, after not committing to it last year, committing to it this year, and Emerson next to Nurse. And Regula, well, he remains a very unknown product. I would prefer not to put a rookie next to Nurse, as we so often have done. I would imagine everybody's opinion on Bouchard would be about 10 degrees less angry had Bouchard not spent as much time early on next to Nurse as he has. So, that's Jake Walman. There we go. We're good? We're covered? We're great? Everybody understand? Because there's a lot to get to. That's literally just the Cole's notes on the video we did this morning live from the car in between meetings. So, let's carry on to possible Oilers moves. Oh man, I missed graphic. Okay. All right. Anyway, let's actually touch on this. So, possible Oilers moves. Send down Howard despite the bonus cap and LTIR Janmark versus Walman. Instead, you IR him and send down Howard. Basically, we'll cover that in a matter of minutes. But the lamest situation for the Oilers is exactly what we chose to do. So I did caution that in yesterday's video. That again, let's get to Connor McDavid's exact numbers. His $12.5 million cap hit deal. Again, Stan Bowman, full transparency today, said we didn't discuss numbers. Jed Moldaver and Connor McDavid came to the Oilers, said 2 years, 12.5, let's do this. Jeff Jackson, Stan Bowman drafted up the contract, slammed it on the desk. They signed away and done. This was a 48-hour process, as we always knew it would be. Just mattered to Connor, I guess, at the end of the day, to see a heck of a training camp from the Oilers from a coaching perspective, from a player perspective. Get excited about the young guys, make the guys realize, hey, we're doing something this year. And that, indeed, we are. $850 base, $13.4 million signing bonus for Connor in year one. So he does get paid. $900K base, $9.85 million signing bonus next year. No move clause, done and dusted. Judd Moldaver just made some money today as well. So game on. There you go. That's the full breakdown. Let's keep going. The roster moves from today for the Oilers. As I said, we referenced that earlier graphic I used in yesterday's video. Let's get to it. The Oilers announced Matthias Janmark goes on IR. They've loaned Ike Howard and David Tomashik to Bakersfield. See, we're getting somewhere. And recalled forward James Hamlin. Hence, start of the video, James Hamlin's made the opening night, opening cap, whatever you want to say, roster. This will have them $834 under the cap to start the year and cap compliant for day one. Then tomorrow, they will move Mr. Zach Hyman to LTIR. Hamlin will go to the AHL to get back to the Condors before things heat up down there. And recall Howard and Tomashik. So there you have it. That is where you're going. So, yeah, basically just getting this in from Kevin McCurdy. Stauffer said that Connor and Leon were up in the press box watching the preseason and rookie games to see what's up and coming. They also sought media opinions of what they saw as well. Very plugged in. All signs point up. Connor and Leon all in on the direction of the Edmonton Oilers. Okay, well, it's fine and dandy. I got distracted, but we've still got a job to do here. Let's move forward to next year's picture. Why does this all matter? Connor McDavid, $12.5 million. Well, the Oilers have $82.236 million signed away for next year. 10 forwards: McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Nugent-Hopkins, Frederic, Mangiapane, Podkolzin, Janmark, Savoy, Howard. Nice and tidy. 5 defensemen. Like I said, the defense is locked down. Bouchard, Nurse, Walman, Emerson, Regula. No Kulak, no Emerson. I think it's a foregone conclusion that, Kulak probably won't be back, and Ekholm will get an extension at some point, though probably playing a lesser role than he is now with the Oilers, depending on how healthy over the duration of the season he comes back from his injury last year. The Oilers, and we're going to talk about this quite a bit as the video wears on, no goalies signed for next season. There's a lot to be made. Connor Ingram's in the minors right now. He's not got an extension for next year either. Skinner's on the last year of his deal. So is Pickard. I think of the three, based on performance coming into the year, Pickard's probably about got the best inside track to stick. And I don't want to slight either Ingram or Skinner, but if the Oilers have a lot of cap space, I think it's going to be spent on a goalie. I think that's probably what Connor's aiming at. You don't need a big number one D-man. You don't need a number one forward. You got all that times a couple. You need a goalie. And Pickard is a backup. He's going to deliver your job every single time. Be reliable. It is what it is. He's a great guy. The guys love playing for him. Done and dusted. He's got the inside track at this current moment. Skinner, what becomes of him is his test this year. McDavid extension gives Bowman room to make moves. Pressure will be not on Stuart Skinner to deliver. It'll be on Stan Bowman to deliver the results next offseason and possibly even going into the trade deadline. $2.6 million, Jason Gregor notes, committed to the Jack Campbell buyout. Oh, by the way, we do have a goalie sign. Kind of not really dead money, whatever. Okay, likely next steps. Here we go. This is what I foresee kind of going on here. I want to set up the picture for you. The Oilers will have an absurd, by our standards, not, San Jose or Columbus or Montreal, absurd by our standards cap space next year. And we did a lot of work in the European free agent market. Again, that's why I say Kulak's likely gone. Atro Lepinen, ring a bell. Everybody loved him in the preseason. Everybody absolutely loved him in the preseason. And we're very excited to watch him down in Bakersfield and see Bob Stauffer just blow up about him every single chance he gets, because it is going to be great to have a guy down in the depth system just absolutely destroying the competition as a somewhat pro. So we signed the depth Euros, right? Marhala. We signed, of course, Szymanski, we signed Tomaszek, and we signed Lepinen. Beautiful crop of Euros. They've come in, they've seamlessly fit with the Oilers systems. They are looking good. 3 of them start in Bakersfield. Tomaszek starts in Edmonton, hopefully shooting the puck a crap ton on the power play and jamming in goals in place of Zach Hyman on PP number 1. So, that leads me to believe the big swing may be coming. We know that there was a big swing coming from the Oilers at some point. They were in on Mikko Rantanen. That meant they were possibly in on Mitch Marner, and there was a ton of ability to possibly get that cap space to work, whether the Oilers knew Connor was signing for 12.5 or not. I think it might have, ended up risking losing Bouchard for an offer sheet. You would have gotten some compensation. You would have been easily able to rebuild whatever value you've lost through getting the picks and trading them and retention in the whole 9 yards. The Oilers could have figured it out. They chose not to do that, but now they have that coming. So we move forward to this one here. We've still got 3 more graphics to get through, by the way, as the likely next steps, number 2, with Draisaitl, McDavid, Nuge, Nurse, Bouchard, Walman, all locked in long-term, right? We talked about all the forwards locked up, but these guys are locked in long-term. The biggest question, and I told you we were going to talk about it again, remains the goaltending. It remains, and it will be until it's solved in some fashion or another, the biggest question the Oilers have to answer. Now, when it comes down to it, a big season, a big performance, Stanley Cup season, Stanley Cup performance from Stuart Skinner probably gets the job done in terms of solidifying his contract at probably $6 million times 6. And, Skinner gets you going for the next several years. You win another cup, hopefully, in there. And, Connor McDavid's a 2-time cup champion, number in the rafters alongside Draisaitl and Nuge, and tiny era of Oilers hockey. And when I've got gray in this beard fully and this hair's thinning out, we'll be, remembering yesteryear when guys like James Hamlin and Connor McDavid were on the jersey wall and we thought we could never win a cup because, man, we didn't have goaltending. But the problem is Stuart Skinner's still gotta get the job done, right? We're still in yesteryear where we still don't think we can get the job done due to goaltending. So that is where, even though it remains the biggest question, what happens remains to be seen. There is a long runway yet, and it quite honestly could be a short runway for at least one of either Ingram or Skinner in terms of how long they have to do this job, right? I mean, Skinner could falter right away, right out of the gate. The Oilers panic, trade for a goalie. It's done. Hey, I've seen crazier happen. We fired Jay Woodcroft 2-9-1 to start a year, and things were not looking good. So, panic moves, justified moves, whatever you want to call them, sometimes lead to Stanley Cup finals. So, I'm not going to say, if Stuart Skinner starts bad and we trade him away, that's necessarily the worst thing. But I'm going to say Skinner's going to get some runway here, at least to either succeed or falter. And then if he doesn't succeed, Connor Ingram will get a chance. And then if he doesn't succeed, then there's a lot of problems to be answered. So the Oilers here at least have 3 goalies capable of producing NHL starts on a consistent basis, so we should be covered. But again, you kind of see how all this theory and talk and yammering on from me produces that goaltending, even if I strongly believe in Stu and picks, is still a major question mark when you've got the cap space the Oilers do next year. Just saying. Okay, so enough about that. Let's get to the final graphic of the day and let's get on with your evening. I promised you a longer video tonight on the live stream earlier this morning. We've gotten that done, so let's do this. My thoughts. Let's wrap this all up with a pretty bow, okay? McDavid is signed, and the drama. We don't need to talk about Toronto anymore. We don't need to talk about, for some reason, the Florida Panthers was somehow included in there. I'd throw mud at the window and hope it sticks. So that's done. We're over. We'll talk about Connor as an Oiler for the next 2 years. July 1st, 2027. Open it all up back again. I don't care, but we got 2 more playoff runs with Connor McDavid at $12.5 million, mind you, to at least discuss everything. And then we've got another year after that, even once the drama begins again. Keep trying. The window is far from closed. I mean, the Canucks fans in my comment sections over the course of the past week saying there's no way you can get back to the Stanley Cup Finals. You don't just keep going back there, blah, blah, blah. Connor McDavid at $12.5 million, 100%. We're probably back there 2 years in a row over the next 3. So whether it be this year and next, whether it be next year and the year after, I don't care. The Oilers are not done with the Stanley Cup Finals, at least from this guy's point of view on October 6th, 2025. Time, the greatest equalizer, may prove me wrong, and that's okay because it'll be an experiment and it will be an absolute adventure from here on out. And wrap this all up again. I already went on a tangent about this. One more time for the people in the back. Why don't we keep an eye on the goaltending? That is the major area of concern. I know Stan Bowman's well aware of it. I know Jeff Jackson's well aware of it. Everybody in the Oilers media is well aware of it. Everybody in the Oilers social media circles is well aware of it. And I guarantee you watching back at home, still the biggest question today is, but what about goaltending? And that is really crappy that we have a guy that is about to enter the top 5 all-time wins in Edmonton as a goaltender, and we're asking what about the goaltending. But it just kind of is what it is, and we'll see obviously what this season proves to us. But it's a beautiful day in Edmonton, October 6th. Hey, I don't know what the weather is like out there. It could be snowing right now in Edmonton. I apologize if it is. Our snow's coming on Thanksgiving, but hey, we'll be giving thanks on Thanksgiving that Connor McDavid is an Edmonton Oilers player. How many more years? 3? Sounds nice to me. Friends, I hope you have yourself a great evening. I'm up and done. We'll have some Blue Jays coverage the rest of the way home tonight. And then tomorrow, I might have a video from the car after work, and that's about as best as we're going to get, because really all the Oilers are going to do is paper shuffle some players back up to the NHL and down to the AHL. Thomas Scheck will go up, so will Howard, and then Mr. James Hamlin will go join the Condors with an A on his chest to go lead them down there. So we'll do a video from the car, and then I'm down at the bar, whether it be Old Town, Main Street, somewhere in Airdrie, enjoying the Blue Jays kicking the crap out of the Seahawks. Sorry, nope, never mind. The Yankees, as we get going into, hopefully, the ALCS by night's end. Have yourself a great night. I am up on out of here.